Hey, how's everyone doing this week? It's Pastor Brad again. One of the things that I'm learning about being a pastor is maybe only half my time is spent preparing a sermon to teach on a Sunday, but there's so many other things that happen through the week. Raising teams up, developing ministries, meeting with people, planning events, all that kind of things. So what I have for this month, one of the projects that I'm going to work on is in that latter category, setting the trajectory, the plan for our worship in 2021. We've got an all-volunteer worship team. We haven't had a worship leader for about a year and a half. And so this worship team has done a really good job of keeping things going, having worship every Sunday, scheduling everything, organizing it. We've talked about how can we create like an authentic worship experience, but we haven't sat down and really created, all right, here's our plan, here's kind of how we're going to get there. So here in January, I'd love to let that be a goal of mine and of our churches. So here's how I plan on doing it. First, having a solid goal on where we're headed. We want to have authentic worship. And so to me, what that looks like is the people in our church, when they're worshiping, are uninhibited, praising God, are speaking to Him. Like, we're trying to create this environment, right, where people can encounter God. And so maybe it looks like someone dancing with their hands up. Maybe it looks like someone praying with their hands still. Maybe it looks like someone singing and just clapping along. But that's the goal, is to have authentic worship in our church. How I think we should get there is by having our volunteer worship leaders up on the stage model that. So whatever it looks like for them to be genuinely worshiping God, they can demonstrate what that looks like and then also invite our church to join them. So that's kind of the overall plan, but here's how I anticipate going about it with the team. So I've got this goal. I'd like to make a phone call to each of the 3 volunteer worship leaders that we have and just ask them, where do you feel most free to worship? Not just here at church, but even at home or in your own life. And then ask them, what does it look like when you're on stage and worshiping? Is it behind a microphone? Is it behind a guitar? Is it not doing any of them? Is it not being up there? Just to get some thoughts about where do we as the volunteer team or the volunteer worship team, where do they worship most genuinely? Okay, how can we put them into those contexts, into those scenarios where they can worship fully? And then I plan on having a full meeting for everyone who's in the band. We generally try to meet every other month or so, but then bring them together with kind of this knowledge that we've already talked about with some of the leaders. Here maybe are some ideas of how we can lead toward this genuine worship and model it from a worship team. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of my plan for now. Maybe in a month I can evaluate how to make the plan worked, and then hopefully in 6 months to a year we'll be able to see, did this work? Are we generating genuine worship? Are we modeling that? Are people from our church invited into that? So stick around and we'll see if we get there or not. Take care. Hope you have a good week.